All right, what's up, guys? This is Ryan from Elevate Security, and I don't know, I just there's something about like super rainy days up here that I just love like doing vlog style videos. It's raining so hard right now that you can't even really see what's going on out there hardly. Like maybe I can barely see in front of myself, in front of the building really, but yeah, anyways, a little aside there, but yeah, I was gonna do a technical video, but I just really felt like shooting this kind of video. But now right down to the point here is that you might be vulnerable without even being aware of it. So even if you're really security minded and you've been following, all the security advice that I've given here and understand things from attackers' perspective, you may still be vulnerable. Your information might still be out there for the taking. Now, before I get into this, it's really important to understand that in today's day, almost everything is internet connected, right? If you just think about all the things that could be connected to the internet. Your fridge might be a smart refrigerator. Certainly this TV right here is a smart TV, as are pretty much all TVs that you'll buy nowadays. Of course, your cell phone connects you to the internet, and any number of other devices, maybe even like a camera or something like that. It's hard to even think about all the ways that we are connected to the internet through various devices that aren't our computers, right? There's so many now. So what I'm speaking about here is what are called IoT devices, the Internet of Things. And everyone wants to have the functionality. It kind of harkens back to the video where I said everyone wants to have the flashy functionality, but with that functionality can introduce new security threats, security risks, right? So with Internet of Things, this is a huge security threat, potentially. So the problem lies in that these manufacturers, right, when they make the smart refrigerators, smart TVs, blah, 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 the manufacturing industry, their biggest concern isn't security, it is profit margin, right? Like, how can we profit the most per unit on whatever we're mass producing. So with that being said, when the focus is really on making the best profit possible, as you can imagine, something that is really time consuming and expensive, like security can sometimes be, something like that is like an afterthought to them, right? The only problem is a lot of these come with internet enabled, and you can't really do much about it. And even if you could do something about it, then you may as well not even have a smart device, right? You might as well have a regular one. And then I guess the third problem is sometimes it's hard to find devices that aren't smart devices anymore. And how much should you really worry about this? Well, it is up to you. How much risk are you willing to take on, right? But I will say, if you guys use the smart home type of things, like say Alexa or maybe another brand, I will say that there's been a lot of speculation about, well, is Amazon tracking your data? Google Home, is Google tracking your data? Probably so. We don't know. But I mean, they definitely have access to it. There's no doubt about that. And I will say that there has been reports before of some smart devices, some not Amazon or Google, but some other smart home devices that have leaked everyone's data, their conversations, their information, personal information has been leaked on open Amazon buckets before, no encryption required, or no password or anything required, just visit the Amazon bucket and all the data is there. That has happened before, these open buckets. So yeah, you just gotta take it with a grain of salt here. In the internet age, there's so many ways that you expose yourself, and there can be vulnerabilities on your smart coffee machine. It could get exploited. There's been a lot of reports of smart refrigerators and stuff like that being used in botnets. If you're not familiar with botnets, basically like they take over, they exploit a security flaw in like whether it's the firmware or whatever. In the context of IoT, right, they exploit a known vulnerability in order to gain code execution on the device, and then they can control it remotely in a botnet as a part of like their botnet army or whatever. And they can sell these botnets, they can compromise a bunch of these devices, add them as zombies to their botnet, and then they can sell these botnets to malicious attackers on the black market, and then the attackers can buy them and use them for large-scale denial of service attacks, stuff like that. And so that's why it would be lucrative to an attacker. And here's the thing, right? Like I was mentioning earlier, a lot of these IoT devices, like these manufacturing companies, security is the last thing they care about. They want to increase their profit margin. And yeah, they could make things more secure, but that's going to cut into their profits. And so that's like the huge security issue there. So from an attacker's perspective, this is a very easy thing to exploit. So literally all they need to do is scan the entire internet for certain known vulnerabilities, right? Really common ones, like based off of, they know like, okay, this firmware is vulnerable to code execution. Let me just use something like, there's websites out there where they can search the internet connected devices quickly, do like an internet search, and look for devices running this firmware. And it's like, okay, so based off of this configuration, this is exploitable. So they find like hundreds of thousands of devices online that are running this vulnerable setup, and then they just point and click their script at it, or even have that built in where it just automatically exploits them. And then suddenly they have control over all of these devices, right? So you're what I'm saying basically is your refrigerator might be a part of a botnet army already, and you don't even know about it, because how would you know, right? How would you know? But yeah, they could, if you have personal information on there, they absolutely could gain access to that and do whatever they want with that, right? Maybe like some identity theft kind of attacks or whatever. So just something to keep in mind, that you might be, even if you're really security minded, you might be vulnerable and not even know it. But yeah, I hope you guys still are able to sleep soundly tonight, and let me know if there's any questions down in the comment section below. It's definitely an interesting topic, and especially as we move forward with civilization, definitely something interesting, because IoT devices, they're not going away. They're here to stay. So it's kind of like, how can we make them secure? How can we be able to, as consumers, sleep soundly at night? I think the reason most people sleep soundly at night is because they don't know the security side to it. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I'd rather know the uncomfortable truth than be comforted in the lies, right? So I'm just trying to give it to you here straight. But yeah, let me know if there's any comments or questions down in the section below. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.